So it's kind of been a minute since I've done a proper vlog, and wanted to share with you a little bit about how awesome Family Sunday was at our church. I've told you before that every month that has 5 Sundays in it, the 5th Sunday is a family worship service where we just bring in all the kids and worship together, and we did that this Sunday. For the longest time I've been trying to get some students to form a little bit of a worship band, and I've got these kids who play the violin. I've got another kid that plays the keyboard. We've got a really great worship leader that helps out on Sunday nights with our student ministry, and Nathan plays the bass. We celebrated baptisms from some of the kids that got baptized during summer camp, and we had a children's message kind of where we just basically we were teaching the same kind of curriculum that we were teaching every single Sunday in children's ministry. We did that for the entire church. As the band was playing, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was so cool to see my son in the back there playing the bass guitar. I was a little bit impacted because I was being led in worship by Nathan, by my kid, and that just filled my heart. My family wasn't the only one that was impacted by this Sunday. I mentioned a little bit of an email that I received in my podcast this morning. And I got this email from one of the parents, and the mom says, she sent it to the pastors of our church, and she says, "I'm so grateful for you. We had the opportunity, a really great opportunity, to engage with our kids today at the family worship service. Of course, we had to deal with all the kid behaviors that ours typically display, but in the midst of it all, God was at work." I want to repeat that before I go on. Of course, we had to deal with all the kid behaviors that ours typically display, but in the midst of it all, God was at work. That phrase right there is Psalm 127. You are blessed. It is a privilege to be a parent. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of these arrows of the children of his youth. And she goes on to say, during the invitation, one of my sons stood up, and I was so moved that he responded so quickly to the opportunity to engage with God's Spirit about what he is currently struggling with. My husband was able to talk with him and pray with him about what he was dealing with. And then whenever my daughter came over to me, she said, "I wasn't brave enough to stand up, but there's really something that I've been struggling with too." So this mom talked with the daughter and prayed about her struggle. And then the other son was disappointed that he couldn't participate in communion, but they even had an opportunity to engage him in a conversation about communion. And so this son, the youngest, has been asking questions about the process and about what Jesus did for him for 6 months. And then after they got home from church, he was ready to receive Christ as his Savior. 3 John chapter 1, verse 4 says, "I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in truth." There's no greater joy for any parent anywhere than to see their kids walking in truth, to see their kids doing something great, to see their kids following God, to see their kids really being sensitive to the leading of what God is doing in their lives. And so I think that family worship for our church this past week was a huge win. And I just wanted to encourage anyone who's a parent to know that this kind of thing does happen, that God is working in the lives of your kids, and that your kids are important to him, and that he is doing something. So be sensitive to that. Open your eyes, open your ears, understand that God is doing something even whenever it feels like all is lost. So I wanted to encourage you with that today and let you know that, like, not just our church is so awesome because we did family worship, but God is awesome because God is working in the lives of young people constantly. And we as parents and we as youth workers or leaders or church leaders, we get to come alongside of what he is doing, and we get to just be a part of how he is working in the midst of this generation. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We will talk to you the next time.